What's happening? It's Tony's Topics. Okay, so let's talk about basketball in the NBA. Alrighty then. I almost was tempted to not do this particular topics, but I don't know. So I'm like walking down the street and this kid's like, "Hey, it's LeBron, right?" And I was like, "Wow, that's so nice, man. I just got complimented with being LeBron. You know, it just makes me want to." Anyway, so because like I remember back in the day, they was calling me Meta World Peace or Ron Artest or whatever. But I've been working on the skills and whatnot. So either way it goes. So what am I going to talk about? Yeah, I could go into the Clippers Houston game last night, but I'm gonna save that for tomorrow night. Yeah, let's I guess just get to the main meat of the night: the Grizzlies versus Golden State. Why am I skipping the Atlanta Washington series? Simple. Because I look at Washington as being like that random dark horse. They're like that team that on any given day can beat your best team. So, but I don't expect them to take it all. But every now and then, that random dark horse team wins the whole thing just to remind everybody that it can happen. But bottom line is, I just don't know where Washington's going to get off. It's an incredible run that they're definitely on. Paul Pierce has shown that he can still bring it. But yeah. And then Atlanta, on the other hand, I'm just like, why is it taking Atlanta this long to put out the number 5 team, man? Really? But anyway, and I mean, we are talking East, right? All right then. So either way it goes. So with that, let's get to the real matchup. Golden State Warriors versus the Memphis Grizzlies. So what's changed? Simple. Teams are losing guys. The Maurice Spikes loss, right? Now, why is this significant? Maurice Spikes was like an ace in the hole for Golden State. The truth is, if you look at his minutes, they barely ever play Maurice Spikes, right? But the bottom line is Maurice Spikes is a player who they could put in when they needed to, and that guy could get them 20 points a game. And there's very few players in the league that can just come out and get you 20 points a game, but Maurice Spikes is one of them. That guy can consistently get you points and rebounds. Okay, now I was looking at his defense the other night, and that didn't look all that impressive. But for the most part, Maurice Spikes can score, and maybe he was just having a bad night. But when you take out the Maurice Spikes effect, and you look at the fact that David Lee, I guess, has been so underplayed, or maybe now I can't even tell if David Lee just doesn't have what he used to have, or if he just doesn't want to show what he has because he wants to trade so bad. I mean, I would think, if you... Now, clearly, David Lee cannot be happy playing for Golden State being a backup. Then again, maybe he is. If he really doesn't have it anymore like he used to, then maybe he is just being happy being a backup. But I'm like, this is a guy who a year ago was averaging 18 points and 9 rebounds a game. And now he's not even the second string guy? Really? So... unless all of David Lee's goodness just went out of him, I'm thinking there's still some in the tank, which means he's not happy, which makes me wonder if maybe David Lee's just like throwing it. I mean, just to get a trade because, who else, any other team in the league, David Lee practically starts for. I mean, pretty much any other matchup, David Lee gets your power forward position. All right, so with that being said, looking at the matchups, Golden State versus Memphis comes down to Steph Curry, Klay Thompson versus Zach Randolph, Marc Gasol. All 4 guys can get 20 points. Okay, so let's just look at it now. Marc Gasol, Zach Randolph, Zach is going to make it to 20, whereas Steph Curry is easily going to surpass 20. But let's just say that these guys cancel themselves out, right? Then that leaves us with the remaining we have Mike Conley and Courtney Lee on one side, basically bringing you about 35 points, versus Andrew Bogut, who's good for 7, and Draymond Green, who's going to pull about 15 on a good night. So you're talking about 35 points versus 21 maybe 21, 22 maybe, So with that being said, I think it gives Memphis a significant advantage. The thing, of course, Golden State has Harrison Barnes, all right? And that might be the it factor, whereas Memphis has Tony Allen, who's not a great scorer but incredible on defense. And it kind of showed that other night when they tried to go with Jeff Green and Golden State just served them up. Put Tony Allen back in the game. For whatever weird reason or whatever it is, Tony Allen makes Memphis play hard defense. I mean, when you take the attitude of Tony Allen getting steals, blocking shots, doing his thing, Zach Randolph roughing people up, it just makes Memphis a hard, gritty, hardcore, dirty team. Because the rest of the guys just buy into that persona. We're going to beat these guys. We're going to rough them up. So, With that being said, Harrison Barnes and Tony Allen more or less played the random it factor of who's going to really come out. But then you look at the backup guys behind that, and I think you almost have to give it to Memphis. Ben Udry, Kufos, Lure. I mean, Memphis has just got some really, really great Vince Carter. You know, and I'm not saying that Golden State doesn't have a bench, because they do. I'm just saying Memphis just seems like those guys are really hard up to play. So with that being said, I was originally Golden State all the way, but with the loss of Maurice Spites, it's like, I don't know what it is, but it's like these injuries are just making the playing field completely fair, right? Like certain teams were just too broken or just too amazing, and now they're catching injuries. By losing Maurice Spites, that takes away a really good score that Golden State could use if they needed him. You know, and sadly enough, they should have used him more, but hey, but it still takes away a possible weapon for them. You know, the loss of it's been so long, but the loss of Kevin Love, you know, it shows what are the Cavaliers really made of. I mean, because that team still is doing just fine. You know, the loss of Pau Gasol. What are the Bulls without this big man monster underneath? Really? You know, it's like Joakim Noah, Jimmy Butler, and Derrick Rose. What else you got? Dunleavy's been coming through, though, so, you know, who knows. Either way it goes. Just excited to see what happens next. That's my time. That's my topics. Tune in next time when we talk about the Clips taking it. Go Cleveland. Go Clips. That's my time. Thanks for tuning in.